How long does a sexual assault investigation take in Ontario? A lot of our clients will show up at our office and they'll say they're under investigation for sexual assault. The police have reached out to them. They're wondering, how long does this process, they haven't charged me, how long is this going to take? Well, that's a very loaded question because every case is different, and I perhaps should give you some examples. So let's say a person's at a bar and they're accused of, for example, a fairly lower level sexual assault. Perhaps they briefly groped a girl's buttocks in the bar. Kind of a common scenario, unfortunately, that we've come across over the years. So that person then reports it to the police. Maybe they call 911, maybe they show up at the police station. That's going to be a fairly quick investigation. The police are going to take an initial statement from the person in an occurrence report. They're probably then going to do a videotaped interview of them, reach out to other witnesses that may have seen or may not have seen the incident. And that type of investigation on a lower level sexual assault, might be completed in a few days. They might then call the accused in to provide a statement. And of course, right to remain silent. I have that in another video. Do not provide a statement if you're being accused. So you could wind up being charged within a few days. As we go up the scale, if I might put it that way, of domestic assaults, if we take a much more serious charge, such as a case involving sexual intercourse, which is the more serious end of the scale, those investigations can take weeks, months. It really depends. So as an example, the complainant alleges she was assaulted against her will, sexual assault, contacts the police, statements taken from her, videotapes. All the other witnesses are interviewed as well over time. It might take quite a few weeks. People she told this to after the fact, people at the party before, for example. She would go for a sexual assault evidence kit at the hospital if it happened within the preceding 72 hours, where a nurse gathers all the relevant skin, saliva, hair samples, DNA, and whatnot. And that process can take a long time. It may take a few weeks, it may take a few months, depending on how many witnesses there are. And of course, ultimately, the accused, if the police determine there's reasonable and probable grounds to lay a charge, they will. So there's an example, two ends of the spectrum, where it could be wrapped in a few days, or another end of the spectrum, it could weeks to months. There's also very involved sexual assault investigations. Let's say a person's being accused of multiple rapes and sexual assaults against many women. Well, literally dozens of women may have to be interviewed, all the peripheral witnesses, evidence gathered. I've seen those investigations take a year or even two at times. So people are very concerned. If you know you're under investigation, there's really no time limit to lay a charge either. A sexual assault, there's no time limit. A charge could be laid from 40 years ago. So it's very concerning when someone knows they're under investigation. How long is this going to take? Well, we really don't know. I mean, it could be concerning even at 6 months. But for a minor offense, I mean, if nothing's happened, if there's no charge laid after a certain amount of time, you're getting increasingly confidence going away. Even with a much more serious charge, I mean, if a year's gone by, well, it's more rare, even 6 months on a case involving sexual intercourse. So there's no average time. Every case varies. It really depends on how many witnesses there are, how involved the case was, and who has to be interviewed. And of course, police in different cities are very busy. In metropolitan Toronto, it tends to take longer because the detectives are so busy. They're working on multiple cases. Versus a small town, it might be a top priority. So it might take weeks in a small town. It might take a couple of months in metropolitan Toronto. That's just the reality of the resources we have for police in the province. So there you have it, in the sense that it's still concerning for people because you may know you're under investigation. It's hanging over your head like the sword of Damocles sometimes for months on end. And that people ask me, Mike, when do I know I'm not going to be charged? Well, I don't know. we don't know how long the police are going to take. At some point, I can say with increasing confidence, well, it looks like they're not going to charge you. But you don't. The police aren't going to tell you. You don't phone them up after, hey, am I going to be charged? The police not tell you that they're still investigating. They're still determining their reasonable probable grounds. And unfortunately, this is a very stressful situation for people to be in, especially with an unknown answer about how long it's going to take. So there you have it. There's a little bit of a primer on different categories of sexual assault, how long it's going to take, and it's really a up in the air answer, isn't it?
Thank you for watching our video. We are absolutely committed to bringing you the best possible criminal and DUI educational videos. If you found this video helpful, please like it and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you've been charged with a criminal offense in Ontario and require our services, please click on the link in the description below.